All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're digging into something huge from Chapter 14 of the Body Recomposition Guide. Something that, let's be honest, most of us totally ignore. We obsess over every calorie, every rep, but what if the biggest gains are actually made when you're completely checked out?
You know, it's easy to dismiss something like this as just some old poetic quote. But Thomas Dekker was seriously onto something, especially for us when we're trying to change our body composition. That golden chain he talks about, it can literally be the thing that pulls you forward or the anchor that holds you back.
So, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? I mean, your diet is on point, your training is intense, but you look in the mirror and nothing. The results just aren't there. It's got to be one of the most maddening things, right? Well, if you've hit that wall, that dreaded plateau, the secret weapon you're looking for, it might not be a new workout split or a different diet. It might just be in your bedroom.
Okay, let's get into it. The Recomp Dark Horse. And yeah, we're calling sleep the dark horse for a reason. It's that underdog, that totally overlooked factor that can sneak up and either make or break your success. So let's really dig into the science here.
So let's talk about losing muscle versus losing fat. Just how big of a deal is sleep, really? Well, there's this one study, and honestly, it's pretty shocking. It shows that sleep might be the single biggest factor in determining whether the weight you lose is fat or your hard-earned muscle. And we all know weight loss is not all the same.
Okay, check this out. Researchers set up an 8-week study. They had two groups, and both were put on the exact same calorie deficit diet. The only real difference was sleep. One group got a full night's rest. The other? They had their sleep cut by just 1 hour, 5 nights a week. That's it. So, what do you think happened?
This is where it gets crazy. Both groups lost pretty much the same amount of total weight on the scale. But, and this is a huge but, look at what that weight was made of. The group that slept normally, a whopping 83% of their weight loss was pure body fat. That's awesome. That's the goal. Now, the sleep-restricted group, get this. 85% of the weight they lost was lean body mass. We're talking muscle, people. They lost muscle.
Just let that sink in for a minute. The diet was perfect. The only thing that changed was a little less sleep, and that small change completely flipped a switch inside their bodies, telling them, hey, hold on to the fat and start burning muscle for fuel instead. It is literally the exact opposite of what every single one of us is trying to do.
So how on earth does that happen? Well, when you don't get enough sleep, your body mixes up this nasty hormonal cocktail that's basically the enemy of body recomposition. It cranks up your stress hormone, cortisol, which loves to break down muscle. And at the same time, it tanks your good muscle-building hormones like testosterone. It's just the perfect storm for muscle loss.
And it doesn't stop there. This whole hormonal mess isn't just about what you're losing when you're in a deficit. It directly attacks your performance, sabotaging your actual workouts.
You've felt this before. I know you have. You've had a couple of bad nights' sleep. You walk into the gym and suddenly the bar feels twice as heavy. That's not in your head. Research shows your max strength actually drops and your perception of effort just skyrockets. Basically, everything feels harder. And those big compound lifts, you know, the bench, the deadlift, the ones that really matter for building muscle, they take the biggest hit.
But look, it's not all doom and gloom. Let's flip this around. When researchers had elite basketball players get more sleep, their three-point shooting accuracy jumped by over 9%. That's huge. So this isn't just about avoiding the bad stuff. Getting enough sleep can actually unlock a whole new level of performance.
Okay, so this brings us to the big question, right? What's the magic number? How much sleep do we actually need to stop all this muscle-wasting nonsense and actually optimize things?
You'll hear 7 to 9 hours thrown around for the general population, and that's fine. But for us, for people who are lifting heavy and actively trying to change our body composition, the data point's a little higher. The sweet spot, the range you really want to be aiming for to get the best results, is 8 to 9 hours a night.
And I can already hear some of you. 8 to 9 hours? Are you kidding me? It can feel totally unrealistic with work and family and, well, life. But hang on, don't just give up because that number seems impossible. There are still things you can do.
Listen, the key here is not to be perfect. Don't get stuck in that all-or-nothing trap. Seriously, 6 hours of sleep is way, way better than 5. A quick nap in the afternoon, that can be a total game changer. And yeah, even though you can't perfectly make up for lost sleep, sleeping in a bit on the weekends absolutely helps reduce the damage. Every little bit counts.
All right, so we've got the why. Now let's talk about the how. It's time to turn all this science into a simple action plan. Stuff you can literally start doing tonight to get a handle on your recovery. This is all about what they call sleep hygiene. First, try to get on a schedule. Your body loves routine, so going to bed and waking up around the same time is huge. Next, create a little wind-down ritual. Read a book, take a bath, whatever chills you out. Then, turn your bedroom into a sleep cave. It should be dark, quiet, and cool. And maybe lay off the caffeine after, say, 5 p.m. Oh, and don't go to bed starving either. A little something can keep you from waking up in the middle of the night.
And we have to talk about stress, because you really can't separate it from sleep. They're two sides of the same coin. If your mind is racing, you're not going to sleep well. So try things like meditation, or maybe just journaling. Get all those worries out of your head and onto a piece of paper. Find a hobby that gets you into that flow state. You have to manage your stress just as actively as you manage your macros.
So, here's the bottom line. I want you to ask yourself this question. Are you really taking your recovery as seriously as you take your training? It's time to start thinking of training as a 24-hour-a-day job. The gains aren't just made in the gym. They're solidified while you sleep. Honestly, if you start treating your sleep with the same respect you give your heaviest lifts, that might be the final key to unlocking the physique you've been working so damn hard for.